Hey guys, today we're making a pie that's not only super delicious, but it's also super easy. This is a blueberry custard pie. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is take our pre-baked crust. You could either make it yourself or you could buy it from the store pre-made. And if you want the recipe to my pie crust, I will put it in the description box down below. Next, I'm going to take some fresh blueberries that I've washed and made sure all the stems are off because we do not want to bite into that. And I'm just going to let that sit in my already cooled pie crust. And now we're going to make a custard to go over it. In a medium-sized bowl, I'm adding some granulated sugar, some light brown sugar, some all-purpose flour, cornstarch, some salt, 2 whole eggs and 2 egg yolks, a little bit of vanilla extract, and also lemon juice, not 1 but 2 teaspoons. And then I'm going to add some heavy cream. And that's it for our custard. Just go ahead and take a whisk and just mix this up. Make sure there's no lumps of flour or sugar in there. And since there is some brown sugar as well, it's going to give off this kind of nice bronze color. I really like the way this looks. And now that's looking good, nice and smooth, no lumps of anything. We're going to take this and we're going to pour this over our blueberries and make sure you get it all evenly in there. You want to take a rubber spatula and dip the blueberries that look like they're not completely submerged into the custard because you want every single blueberry to be completely covered. And then this is going to go into a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 55 to 60 minutes. And once that's all done, it's actually going to give kind of a chocolate chip cookie look. It's going to be nice and toasted on top, but do not worry, this is still a custard. And this is going to cool off for a little while. I'd say about 3.5–4 hours at room temperature. And then you can finally cover it and put it in the fridge, because custard pies are always better when they're cold. I had that sitting in my fridge overnight. If you can't wait that long, I suggest leaving it in the fridge for about 4 hours if you're impatient. But in the end here, patience does pay off, because this is looking fantastic. The custard has settled, and it's finally time for me to slice into this thing. I'm going to take a paring knife and try and make my cuts as even as I can. I'm not exactly good at this, but once I do get a slice out, it is looking fantastic. I love the cross section for this. This is probably one of the best looking pies I think I've ever made. And it was, like I said, one of the easiest. Now, before we dig into this, I do need to talk about another pie that I made earlier, because I actually made a blueberry puree for this, mixed it into the custard, and it didn't really come out the way I was expecting. I was hoping for kind of a purple custard pie almost. I had this sitting in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour and a half, and it was still very jiggly in the middle, and that made me very nervous. So I gave it a chance. I covered it with some plastic wrap, and I let it sit in the fridge overnight. The custard did settle, but it really wasn't that good. But if there was one thing that came great out of this recipe, it is the blueberry puree I made. And I'm showing you this right here, right now. In a saucepan, I have some fresh blueberries, some sugar, cornstarch, lemon juice, and some water. And that's literally all you need. I'm just going to toss this all together with a wooden spatula. And once it looks like all the cornstarch has dissolved into the water and lemon juice, we're going to take this and put it over medium heat. And this is going to be going on for a little while. You need to have patience for this. I'm basically stirring the berries as the pan heats up, and this is on medium heat, so it's going to take a little while. But once you get there, about 5 minutes in, you're going to start seeing the mixture do this. And the berries are kind of splitting, but you can break them up yourself if you want to. After 10 minutes, it starts bubbling, but make sure you don't let it boil too much. You don't want it to overflow. And once you get to that stage, you're going to want to turn your heat to low, let that simmer, and you should have a thicker, glossier looking syrup almost. This next part is optional, but I actually blended it up with an immersion blender. And if you want to skip this step, that is totally fine. But I wanted a very smooth liquid because not only do I want to use this on my pie, but I would also like to use this on either pancakes, waffles, or even an ice cream sundae. So yeah, and it makes a lot too. It's a lot cheaper than buying it from the store already pre-made, and you can have control of the sugar too. Alright, back to modern day pie. I was really looking forward to sharing this recipe with everybody because I actually have made this pie before, but it's been a few years, and I've forgotten how amazing it actually was, because blueberry pie really is one of my favorite pies of all time. But adding that custard really takes this to another level, especially since custard pies are some of my favorite kind of pies. Pumpkin pies, sweet potato pies, buttermilk pies. And when I was trying this, I was like, okay, now I need to put the puree on there. And will it make it better? Guys, this really is one of the best desserts I think I've ever had in my entire life. This is the kind of pie that will fix a bad day. After a long day at work, it would be nice to just come home and have this. Now, those blueberries are amazing. They're nice and sweet on their own. That custard really, again, just takes it to another universe. It's just mind-blowing. And then that crust is nice and buttery. If you don't want to make your own, I understand, but I really do suggest taking the time to make it from scratch. But My goodness, is this absolutely great. And that puree, you gotta make that puree because it really does just add more, another layer of amazing flavor. But I'm gonna take my pie, I'm gonna get going, and eat the rest of this and share it with nobody. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed this one. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.